Hi. I'm finding it really hard not to look at the screen today. It's been a little minute since I've done like a sit down video, so I'm gonna do a Q&A. I usually don't get that many questions in the comments of my YouTube videos, but my shorts have been going crazy at the minute. Jeez. Which, by the way, thank you for all the support. Yeah, shorts are popping off. I don't know what it is. I think it's that YouTube's pushing shorts and I've started posting them more and stuff, so the algorithm maybe just likes me on YouTube, which is a change from TikTok. It's nice to get to chat to people, and also I'm nearly at 50k. I'm filming another video simultaneously to this one, like a little vloggy type week-long one, and in that I've thanked you guys for 30k and 40k, and I'm 3k off 50k. I've said k too many times, it sounds weird. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to answer some of the questions that are on my recent videos and give you guys all the info you've been wanting. They're going to be mainly about Tourette's and fainting and my seizures, I think, so hopefully this can answer some questions and help you guys. First question is, do my tics calm down whenever I feel like I'm about to faint? Or have there been times where you tic until you're out? This is an interesting one because I know some people find that they do tic when they're having like seizures, for example. I think some non-epileptic seizures people do tic, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't. Personally, if I have any fainting activity, any seizure activity, anything like that that isn't tics, it completely overrides it and I don't tic anymore. So no, when I'm feeling faint and when I go really drowsy and droopy, I call it like my droop, I don't tic at all. And before a seizure and just after a seizure I usually don't tic at all either. Obviously it's not the same for everyone, but in general, yeah, my tics calm down because the signals in my brain kind of slow down, I guess. This person says they have an online friend with tics and I'm not sure if I could help with their tic attacks or how to react when they have one. Any tips? My tip for if you're with someone who's having a tic attack is just try and make them most comfortable as possible. If they need pillows, anything soft, things like that, if it's a very physical tic attack, can always help. Or if it's a very verbal tic attack, maybe getting people away or shutting the door so they don't feel as embarrassed so other people can't hear. Because I know that's one of my things. If I ever have a tic attack at college, I want to make sure that the classrooms next door can't hear me and I'm not disrupting anyone, because that just makes me feel really self-conscious. But yeah, just offer things like water, pillows, ask if they need it, but apart from that, just give them space, because a lot of people don't like people being near them when they're ticking, especially if you have violent tics like I do. Because I don't want to hurt people. I think it makes us feel worse if someone else gets injured because of our tics. But yeah, just ask them. Everyone's different. Have I ever sprained, fractured or broken anything from tics? I've never broken a bone and I've never fractured a bone, but I have sprained a couple things and I've got so many bruises. I've been to A&E and I think I've had to get x-rays twice because of tic attacks. I'll put a couple pictures here of like bruises and injuries I've got over the years, mainly during high school. I think that was when my tics were super severe when I was doing my GCSEs. Yeah, that was a rough time. But I've never broken anything. Am I able to drive with my health conditions, or is it too dangerous? Just curious because I know some people who have similar stuff. Wishing the best for you. Thank you. Thank you for the love, first of all, and second of all, no, I can't drive. If I just had Tourette's, I would be able to drive, unless obviously my tics made it dangerous, then I wouldn't, just for the safety of myself and other people. But because I have seizures and fainting, I have blackouts where I go unconscious. I can't drive because I can't guarantee that it won't happen when I'm driving, so unless I go, I think it's a year seizure free, I cannot drive. Do you have tics when sleeping and how do you control it? I don't think so, but obviously I'm asleep, so I can't say for definite because I don't know what I'm doing when I'm asleep. But from what I know, no, I don't tic in my sleep. But once I did have a really bad seizure episode where I was twitching in my sleep, but I think that was seizure activity rather than tics. With regards to how do you control it, you can't really control tics. I just try and reduce the triggers so that it reduces the tics, because if I try and hold it in, it kind of does the opposite, it just exacerbates it. So I just try and reduce triggers, and overall that kind of controls it and brings it down. Trying to stay less stressed, getting enough sleep if my tics allow me. Yeah, not doing anything that triggers it loads, like being around people who trigger it, or being in a high school classroom in a public British school. Wouldn't recommend if you have Tourette's. Different experiences for everyone, but that was chaotic. I've got a question, sorry if it's invading, but how do you fall asleep? That's not an invasive question, it's okay. I fall asleep like anyone else. It used to be really difficult when my tics were at their worst, because pretty much every single night when I got more tired, the more tired I got, the worse my tics got, so it made getting to sleep really difficult, because by the time it was my bedtime, my tics had ramped up and I was kind of in a tic attack most nights. But now that they've calmed down a bit, it's definitely a lot better. What I do is I read before I sleep, so I've always got my brain thinking about something and distracted, so that I can just think about that and then go straight to sleep without letting my brain kind of wander. So I just kind of don't give it the time. Things like not having caffeine, not having too much sugar, because they're triggers for me. It might not be for everyone, but they definitely trigger my tics. So reducing things like that helps, and not getting too excited or doing anything to trigger my tics in the evening before I go to sleep helps. Apart from that, it doesn't really affect it too much anymore, which I'm very grateful for. Ooh, this is a good one. What do you see/feel when you faint? I kind of want to make an entire video on this. I don't know whether I could film something from my perspective, like put a GoPro on my head or something and try and film the feeling of fainting, or like the feeling of a seizure. That would be really cool. What I see when I faint is, well, when I'm unconscious, nothing. Another question that I get asked, which is similar to this, is do I dream when I'm like asleep when I faint? I obviously dream normally, but when I faint, no. It's just like a black void of time. It kind of just feels like I faint, and then the next thing, like I'm waking up and feeling groggy. There's not really a time in between that. I'm just not awake, I'm not there. But just before I faint, my vision goes blurry. It kind of goes like speckledy, you know, like when you stand up too quickly and you see stars and it goes black. Actually, I don't know whether everyone has that. I think everyone's experienced that at least once. If you've ever experienced a head rush, it's kind of like that, but to the max. And then eventually you just get droopy, and then I see nothing, and then I'm gone. This one isn't to do with health, but I have a question, not to be rude, but sometimes I see a rainbow pin. Does that mean you support LGBTQ+? Yes, of course. I don't know if you could tell, but is that an answer? Do the tics make you say random things? Yes. Not everyone says words as tics. I'm going to say that beforehand. A vocal tic could be just like sniffing or coughing or making a noise. Animal noises are really common. My tics, I do have a lot of complex vocal tics, a lot of complex verbal tics, and coprolalia, the swearing. Yeah. All the good stuff. My tics have really random things. I generally pick up tics from things I've heard, like in films. A lot of words that I'm not allowed to say or can't say because of the coprolalia. Anything that's like off limits really easily becomes a tic, which is really helpful. But yeah, I don't think of what I tic. It's not what I'm actually thinking or what I believe. It pretty much is just random words from like the dictionary in my brain. How long do you tend to be out for when you faint? I hope you don't mind me asking, thank you. Thank you for asking. Everyone's so sweet in these comments, by the way. I mean, there's a couple people fake claiming and stuff, but that's the internet, what do I expect? But yeah, thank you for being so sweet, everyone. I'm usually out for like a couple minutes. I have had the odd faint where I've been out for like 10-20 minutes. I think my longest was like 20-25 minutes, which is a really long time. My seizures tend to be longer than my faints, because a lot of my faints it's just a couple minutes. Some of the ones that are caused by me like standing up, if I stand up and then faint, usually it'll literally be like 30 seconds and I'm back. Probably most commonly a couple minutes. Question, have you ever fainted in a really bad moment, like in the shower? I think I have fainted in the shower actually. I was sat down. This was when my health was really bad. I used a shower seat because it was too dangerous for me to stand in the shower. I have fainted a few times. I have actually fainted in the shower once where I felt it coming, so I kind of squatted down and then fainted like kind of in a ball, if that makes sense, so I didn't fall. I've never fallen out of the shower, touch wood. The worst moment I've ever fainted has got to be when I was in college and I was getting my lunch in the canteen. I was in the queue and I was right up at the front paying for my food when I had it, and I had it in my hands. And I was literally at the till, and there's a whole queue and a whole canteen full of people. And as I was scanning like my card, I fainted, like just dropped in the middle of the queue, right at the front in front of everyone, and woke up to the security guard and my friends being like, yo, hey. That was embarrassing. I think the most embarrassing part of it was I couldn't even just like run away afterwards because the security guard wouldn't let me go. So I had to stand at the front with like everyone looking at me as the security guard made me like validate my identity. I was like, dude, let me run away, it's embarrassing. Luckily I haven't had too many weird experiences with fainting because usually I can feel it coming. Ooh, I have a question. After you pass out, do you feel better? Yes. Gets rid of the feeling. I feel awful before I faint. Like I feel kind of ill and my whole body feels off. My circulation isn't right and I get weird like kind of brain fog, I guess. But after I faint, it all goes away. It's lovely. It takes a couple minutes for me to like come round. I feel groggy after I faint. But then when I come round and stuff, it's kind of let out the faint. So yeah, I feel back to normal afterwards, which is great. Sometimes I'm just sat there waiting to faint and I'm like, oh, get it done already. Like, I want it to go away. I just sit there praying that I'll faint just to get rid of the awful feeling. The actual faint isn't as bad as the feeling beforehand. My camera's gonna overheat and I've done a lot of questions. There's 100% a lot more questions that I haven't answered, so if you want a second Q&A video, let me know in the comments, but I'm gonna leave this one here. I'm gonna leave you with all the information and hope that the video isn't too long. I'm gonna end this before my camera shouts at me and overheats. I hope you enjoyed and I hope that was somewhat helpful or interesting. Let me know if there's anything else that I didn't cover and I can do a part 2. And also, thank you for nearly 50k. It's crazy. I appreciate the support. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.